Good afternoon, everybody. It's me, Jessica, your health fitness program manager from McLean. And I'm here today to guide you through a super awesome mind-body connection where we are going to focus on increasing the range of motion and flexibility in our hips. We're going to get started in just about 5 minutes in Savasana. If you made it here early, please go ahead, lay down in Savasana, and we will meet you there at 12:15. I recommend bringing some blocks. If you don't have any blocks, bring a nice pillow or find a towel that you can roll up for a little bit of support. We are going to also do a supported glute bridge in the beginning, which I believe we did last week. It's Tuesday, right? It's so hard to keep track, you guys. Okay, so we start at 4 minutes from now in Savasana. Make sure you have some water nearby just in case you need it. Take a couple sips before class starts. And thank you for coming. Chitty chitty chatty, Fred. Sorry, Fred. Some of you guys are getting some of your mess on my yoga mat. Little combo. It's okay. I still love you both. I still love you both so much. Right? That's correct. Okay. Okay, 1 minute till we get started together in Savasana, but if you have arrived early, don't feel like you have to wait. Oh, look, here comes the dog. My new rug is shorter than my old rug, and miss those extra 7 inches. Welcome, you guys. It's that magical time for our mind-body connection. If you're just getting here, we're going to go ahead and get started in Savasana. As you can see, I'm already here. So take your time, make your way down towards the floor. Keep your props nearby. We're going to want to use your block, or if you don't have a block, your rolled up towel, which can help to give some big structure under your back. And if you don't have that, then a pillow or whatever you might have around. Just actually take a moment for yourself to grab some sort of prop. And once you have that, come on back down to the floor. Don't give up on yourself yet. And we're going to get started right here in this relaxing Savasana. Keep your heels close to each other and allow those toes to fall open to the side. Let's do this beginning Savasana with those arms close by our sides as well. You might find as you get here what felt comfortable in the beginning that you need to roll a little bit to really find some comfort underneath of your hips, in your shoulders. Take a slight tucking of your chin towards your chest to get as much of your neck and back relaxed on the mat. And feel free to close your eyes right now. If you do decide to have your eyes open, just find that one spot of focus. If your eyes are moving, your mind is moving. And come into your breath. Start to scan your body from head to toe and just notice how you feel today. Every inhale, bring in the awareness of whatever sensations you might notice in your body, and exhale, do your best to just let go of any tension, any expectations that you might have. Inhaling in that love energy and just working to slow down your breath. Really take the opportunity to slow down your exhale. Get all of the stale air out on each exhale and continue to focus on this beautiful, slow breath that you created right now in the Savasana in the beginning of class. And do your best to enjoy this continued, slow, relaxed, focused breath throughout the rest of class. Let's take 3 more breaths together right here. Yay! Next up, you're going to go ahead and bend your knees, grab hold of your prop. We're going to come into a supported glute bridge. So you're going to press into your heels and lift your hips and glutes up off of the floor. And then you're going to bring this block wherever feels most comfortable for you. I have the block, the top of the block is just about at the base of my spine so that I can have a little bit of my delightful butt meat hanging off over the end. Maybe you don't have as much delightful butt meat as I do to hang off the other side, and that's okay. You can be as lifted in this glute bridge as feels good for you. So if you want, you might even want to take the higher side of the block, the thinner part, a little bit more pressure on your lower back. Make sure that your upper back and shoulders are supported on the mat. We still have that chin tucked towards the chest, back of the neck supported on the mat. You can have your arms down by your side. You can even press into those arms gently if you need to for a little bit more support. Still work to find grounding in your feet on the floor right now. So notice if you started to externally or internally rotate your feet, ground through your heels, and then press the ball of the foot down right below the pinky foot down. It's okay if your toes gently lift up as long as you're still grounding the main part of your feet to the floor. Come back to that nice relaxed breath. And take 3 more right here. On your exhale, press your feet back into the floor. Lift yourself up over whatever prop you used. Gently, one vertebrae at a time. Relax and release your spine back towards the mat. And if you want to, you can windshield wipe your feet right and left, especially if you felt any tension or discomfort start to build up in that lower back. Then we're going to go ahead and walk our feet back out towards the end of the mat. Bring your heels and toes to touch each other. Press yourself up with your elbows or lift your hips to realign yourself as best that you can. Stretch your left toes up towards the ceiling now. Press your heel into the floor, flex your toes back towards the face, and draw your right leg up for wind removing pose. We're going to reach up and interlace our fingers on top of our shin about 2 inches below the knees, with those fingers resting flat upon your knees, so no knuckles. You're going to go ahead and bring your knee out towards the side and then up towards your shoulder, just to gently avoid your rib cage so that your thigh is not pressing completely on your rib cage. It's normal if your left shoulder rolled up off of the mat as you drew your right knee up, so go ahead, relax back onto your back a little bit more, work to bring that left shoulder towards the mat, and start to really pull your lower belly in. The same contraction of your abdominal core that you would make if you thought someone was coming up to punch you in the belly. So belly nice and tight, draw that knee closer towards your chest. Find a stretch of your elbows down towards your hips, and notice how that pulls your shoulders a little away from your ears. Find that gentle tucking of your chin towards your chest, and flex your left toes back towards your face once more to keep that calf muscle on the mat. If your lower back is pressed down onto the mat and your stomach is sucked in, and you're pulling on your shin with your hands palms, you can also apply some pressure of your shin against your fingers, so an equal opposite contraction of pushing and pulling. And if you do, and all those things are happening at once, and you're lucky you get to feel that pinching compression sensation in your lower right abdomen. You're working towards stimulating your ascending colon change. Gently relax and release your arms down. Bring your feet back together. Heels touch to realign your body. And then draw your left knee up. Start to stretch those toes up towards the ceiling and your face of your right foot. Pull your left knee out away from your rib cage and then back up towards your shoulder. And roll that right shoulder back onto the mat as well. Suck your stomach in. Press your lower back towards the floor. Draw your shoulders away from your ears. Stretch your elbows towards your hips. A stretch through the crown of your head towards the wall behind you and your heel towards the wall in front of you. With that stomach sucked in, pulling on your knee towards your shoulder, pressing your shin into your hands palms, stretching your elbows towards your hips. You'll feel a pinch and compression this time, if you're lucky, in your lower left abdomen, your descending colon. Take one more deep inhale, stretch, and exhale, release. Heels and toes once again come together. Next up, knees to chest pose. So draw both of those knees in, but use your hands to push your thighs together, knees towards each other. Keep your feet relaxed side by side. You can either keep your hands on top of your shins and just work to press together and pull those knees in towards your chest, or if you can, interlace your fingers, grab hold of your opposite hand. If you have it in you, you can even grab hold of your opposite elbow. It's okay to round up, to find a little bit more of a contraction in your upper body, but you do want to relax and release your head back down towards the mat. So I find it's easier to not grab hold of my opposite elbow, to grab hold of my wrist or my fingers, so I can still find that tucking of my chin towards my chest. A goal here being to get your back flat on the mat eventually in the future. Chin tucked towards your chest, giving yourself double or triple chins right now. Look towards the diamond shape that you're creating. If you've reached towards your opposite hand, pull those knees in towards each other and towards your chest. Stretch through the crown of your head and through your hips one more time, working that transverse colon, and change. Legs down, arms down. Take a moment right now, come back into your Savasana, just back towards your breath and stillness. Where do we go from here? All right, next up is going to be thread the needle or reclined pigeon. We're going to do an upright pigeon in a little bit as well. So go ahead, bend your left leg. You can bend your right leg up next to it, or just send that right leg up towards the ceiling. Point your toe, stretch up towards the ceiling, make some circles with your ankle, first in one direction, and then in the opposite direction. Normal to hear some crunching and cracking, so don't be scared if you hear a little poppity pop pop pop. All right, we're gonna go ahead and cross our right ankle over our left thigh. Make sure there's still some room when you cross to make some circles with your ankle in one direction and the opposite direction so that you're not pressing the ankle directly against your left thigh. All right, from here, we're gonna stretch the right knee away from us, and if you want to, you can even use your hand to gently apply a little bit of pressure, maybe even just petting your hip flexor like a cat, just to warm it up a little bit more. This might be the perfect stretch for you today. If you want to go a little bit deeper and thread the needle, go ahead, lift your left leg up off of the floor. Drawing that knee closer towards your chest is so similar to pigeon. This is reclined pigeon. You can either interlace your fingers behind your thigh, or if you want, just grab hold on top of your knee. If you were able to grab your hold behind your thigh, or on top of the knee, honestly, take a moment to relax and release your lower back down towards the mat. It's normal for your glutes to lift up, but if you press them down just a little bit more, you can increase the stretch that you feel throughout that right thigh. Chin tucked towards your chest. If you're not holding on top of the knee, you can even send your left leg up towards the ceiling. Continue to stretch that right knee away from you and press that lower back down on your mat for 3, 2, 1. Slowly bend your knee back down. If you took some sort of a bind, release your bind gently, relax your left foot down towards the floor. Once more, stretch your right leg up towards the ceiling, make those circles one more time in both directions. And then relax and release your right foot down to the floor. Ground your right foot, take a deep inhale, pull your belly in, press your lower back down towards the mat and send your left leg up towards the ceiling. Make some circles with that pointed toe, first in one direction, then in the opposite direction. And then go ahead, cross your left leg over your right thigh. Once again, make those circles, make sure you have some room for your ankle. And then stretch your left knee away from you. All right, take a moment right here to once again focus on the idea of if you lift this right leg up, how you're going to press that lower back, the top of your glutes back down towards the mat. Again, you can always hang out right here and just use your hand to keep warming up that hip flexor to work to encourage your left knee away from you. Or lift up your right foot, draw it up towards your chest. Pull that belly in so you're still pressing your lower back down on the mat, and that's going to help you keep those glutes low. Remember, each side is different, so maybe it was really easy for you to thread the needle on one side, and maybe it's a little bit more challenging on the other. Just honor whatever your body can bring today, or you can always just hang out here with gravity of the right knee coming towards your chest and the focus of stretching your left leg away. You can even still find that lift up of that right leg towards the ceiling without having holds. Get that back of the neck as flat on the mat as possible. Take 2 more breaths. And then change. Gently relax and release your right leg back down towards the floor. Inhale your left leg up towards the ceiling. Make those circles in both directions.
And then relax your left foot back down towards the mat. Go ahead, bring the soles of your feet together. One more to hang out here on our back. We've got reclined bound angle. You can feel free to bring your heels as close towards the center line of the body as feels good for you. You might even find you need to press onto the outside of your feet to lift your glutes up. If it feels like your knees are impossibly away from the floor, you can either A, use a block and place a block underneath of your knee, or your pillow or a rolled up towel, or think about walking your heels a little bit further down towards the end of your mat, and then it can be easier to find a little bit more range of motion. Do whatever feels right with your arms. You can have one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly, maybe starting to bring a little bit more of a stretch to your chest with some goalpost arms, or just arms relaxed down by your side. Keep that chin gently tucked towards the chest, back of the neck still on the mat. Last posture down here. Really work to send your exhales to release any tension or discomfort that you're feeling in your glutes and the outside or maybe even inside of your thighs. Should feel like a nice stretch. It shouldn't feel like pain, but it might be a little bit uncomfortable. So just work to use your breath to find comfort in the discomfort right now. 2 more breaths right here. All right, so we're gonna make our way into tabletop. So take your time either drawing your knees up to your chest and rolling yourself up, or rolling over onto the side and pressing yourself up. Find your way into tabletop. Come towards the top of your mat for your tabletop because we're also going to come into a plank shortly. Let's take a moment though before we come into our plank. Before we do any sort of down dog, we're actually going to take a kneeling position and just make some circles with your wrist, warming those wrists up. Wrist circles in one direction, wrist circles in another direction. Go ahead, bring your hands down towards the mat, close by your knees with your fingers pointing forward. Right now your shoulders are behind your hands. We're going to lift our hips off of our heels and bring our shoulders forward. Still working to really press your palm down on the floor to feel that nice stretch on the back of your wrist. All right, sit your hips back down towards your heels, lift your hips up, make those circles with your wrists one more time in one direction and the opposite direction. Now we're going to bring the back of our hands down towards the floor with our fingers pointing towards our knees. Just work to press those hands down towards the floor. Depending on how much flexibility you have right now in your wrists, you might find you need to come up into tabletop here, or you can work to sit your hips back down towards your heels, still working to press the top of the wrist down towards the mat though. Just breathe in, making sure you're still in control of your breath, not coming into a stretch that's so deep that you are having trouble breathing. I just realized what serious shoulder earrings I was wearing. Did you like them? You can have them too. I don't want them anymore. Okay, awesome. Once more, go ahead, sit yourself up, make some circles with your wrists. Go ahead, interlace your fingers, and let's just stretch forward. Tuck your chin towards your chest. Find some rounding right here, just like you would in cat. Really think about pulling your shoulder blades apart so you're pressing your hands forward like you're trying to touch the wall in front of you with your knuckles. Can you pull your belly in nice and tight right here, stomach sucked in? Take a deep inhale, bring those arms up overhead. Maybe even switch your grip, so palm facing up towards the ceiling. And going arms back. I'm sorry if my shirt just got really short. Okay, change. Great, now we're gonna come back up towards the top of the mat. Set ourselves up for an amazing down dog. I'm gonna tuck my shirt in, because I'm cool. If you're home alone, who cares? A
your body. Okay, all right, so just prepping ourselves for our plank. As you get your hands down on the floor, if you're using a yoga mat today, I want you to line up either your middle finger or your ring finger with the edge of your mat. Just finding a straight line right there, and really work to press your hands palms into the floor, especially that J shape and the backwards J shape that you're making with your thumb and your pointer finger, finding some stability right there with the center part of your palm. Squeeze those shoulder blades together, but also pull them away from your ears. So shoulder blades seated down your spine. Eyes focused on the floor in front of you for a nice flat back, long neck. We're going to keep our left knee down on the floor and send your right leg back behind you. And go ahead, tuck those toes under, get the ball of your foot on the floor. Do the best that you can to stack your heel on top of the ball of the foot so that you just don't have, you're not pulling your hands forward towards your shoulders and pressing your heel towards the wall behind you. Even work to bring that right hip down and forward. And change. Go ahead, draw your right knee in, send your left leg back. Once again, tuck those toes under. Work to get the heel on top of the ball of the foot. Make sure you're not wearing your shoulders as earrings. Shoulder blades seated down your spine. Belly nice and tight. Change. Go ahead, bring your knee back. You can give yourself a couple cat-cows right here. Feel free to even lift your wrists up and give yourself a couple more circles of the wrists. Okay, great. We're going to go ahead and step our feet back into a plank one more time. So go ahead, find some length in your spine. First, stomach sucked in, shoulders away from ears. Step one leg back. You can have your feet nice and wide for some stability, and then the other. And we're just going to go ahead, send our hips up towards the ceiling for down dog. You can bend your knees as much as you need to right here. You can even open your hands a little bit wider for that nice stable base. Better to have those nice bent knees and your belly coming in towards your chest, even as you walk those feet forward. Think about shining your elbow creases forward towards the wall in front of you. All right, feel free to walk the dog, pedal one here and then heel and then the other. Even find some movement in your hips. Shake it out, like honestly, whatever feels good for you, whatever feels right. Just keep on working to send those hips up towards the ceiling and gently spiral those inner thighs backwards. Go ahead, plant your left leg down on the mat. Work to get that left heel down. We're going to send our right leg up towards the ceiling. Stretch from your toe. Make some circles with your ankle in one direction, in the opposite direction. Awesome. Draw that right knee in. Bring it up towards your nose. We're going to step our right foot forward. And we're going to go ahead and lower our back knee down towards the floor. You might need to wiggle that right foot a little bit forward. You might need to wiggle that back leg back. Untuck your back toes. Feel free to use your props right here if the floor feels far away to take that crunch out of your spine. And work to just bring those hips forward. Try to create as long of a line as you can from your left shoulder down through your left knee on the mat. Bringing those hips forward, a big opening of this left hip right here. And we're going to take a twist. So keep your left hand down on the floor or on the mat. Keep your hips coming forward. Your knee is stacked right about on top of the arch of your foot, so you can feel this big stretch in your left hip. We're going to dramatically send that right arm up towards the ceiling. Relax those shoulders away from your ears. Find that length again. Keep pushing your hips forward. Take one more deep inhale. And change. Go ahead, bring your right hand down towards the mat. Let's take a twist in the opposite direction. Still bringing those hips forward. Pull your shoulders away from your ears. Take one more deep inhale. And exhale, release. Relax and release your left hand down towards the mat. We're going to walk ourselves back for reversed split. So walk your right fingertips back towards your left knee. You can keep your right foot down on the floor. You can find as much rounding in your spine as you want to right here. And you can stop with your hip about on top of your knee, or you can even go back a little bit further, a little extra stretch. If you want to feel it more on your calf as well, flex those toes back towards your face.
Take one more nice deep inhale. On your exhale, bring those toes back down towards the mat. Walk yourself forward one more time. Plant both of your hands down, tuck your left toes under, lift your knee up. We're going to send our right leg back. Take a moment in plank. Pull your shoulders away from your ears. Remember, you can do plank for the Mitre Olympics right now. All right, send those hips up towards the ceiling. One more opportunity to walk the dog. Walk the dog, bend those knees as much as you need to. Better to bring your belly towards your knees. Finding as flat on the back as you can, bringing those biceps closer towards your ears, inner thighs spiraling towards the back of the room. Go ahead, plant your right leg down, send your left leg up towards the ceiling. You can even turn and open your hip a little if you want to, but work to keep those shoulders squared to the mat. Make some circles with your ankle, with your toes, both directions. And then we're going to draw that knee in towards your chest, pull yourself forward, and bring that left leg down. Left foot down on the mat. Bring your right knee down as well. Feel free to bring those props to help you find that length right here. Shoulders pulling away from your ears. And if you don't happen to have blocks and you don't want to buy blocks, I'm sure you have a book or two at home, something that you can use stacked up on the floor. Yay, even if you're like, oh no, my books will move. Do you have a box that you can put your books in? And then just tape the box shut for class. All right, pull those shoulders away from your ears. Let's go ahead and find our twists right here. So starting with your right hand down on the floor, send that left arm up towards the ceiling, still stretching your hips forward, still pulling shoulders away from your ears. Look up as much as feels comfortable for you. Take one more deep inhale. Exhale, bring your left hand down towards the floor, still hips forward. Let's stretch in the opposite direction. Beautiful. Go ahead, send your right leg back down. We're going to walk ourselves back for our reverse split. So walking yourself back, do your best to stack your right glute on top of your right heel. Try not to shift your weight too much. Remember, you can start with your toe down on the floor, and you can stay here with your toe on the floor, just stretching those hips back as much as you can. Big stretch happening along the back of your left leg. If you want to feel it more in your calf, flex those toes back towards your face. You can even round forward, bringing the stretch into your upper back as you work to bring your forehead towards your knee. Straighten those hips for 3, 2, 1. Bring that big toe back down towards the mat. Gently begin to walk yourself forward. Go ahead, tuck your right toes under, lift that right knee back up off of the mat. We're going to send our left leg back to meet with the right and send our hips up towards the ceiling. One more time. In down dog. Awesome. From here, lift that right leg up once more. Then draw it forward. Bring it down out nice and wide this time on the outside of your hands. Once again, lower your left knee down. Pull those shoulders away from your ears. I'm going to encourage you to get a little bit lower this time. So we're going to work to bring our forearms down to the mat. You can still use your blocks if you need to, and as you bring those forearms down, shoulders away from ears, allow that right knee to fall out heavy towards the side. It's okay if you rotate onto the big toe. You can allow your head to relax down towards the mat, shoulders away from ears. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Gently walk yourself back up. Move those props out of the way. Tuck your left toes under. Lift your knee up. Send your right leg back to meet with your left. Hips up towards the ceiling. Just a moment right here in down dog. Lift that left leg up. And bring your left leg up nice and wide. Right knee comes down towards the mat. Feel free to bring those props in if you need to. Coming on down low for our lizard lunge. More forward forearms come down towards the mat, allowing that left knee to fall out heavy towards the side. Make sure you're not finding that rounding in your back. So once again, take a moment, find the most length that you can find today. Just setting that beautiful intention and following your breath. Breath first, movement second. Change. Go ahead, walk those hands back in. Bring your knee back up towards the sky. Tuck your back toes under. Lift your right leg up. Left leg goes back. Send your hips up. Once more, down dog. Go ahead, inhale your right leg up towards the ceiling. We're going to bring our right knee towards our right elbow. Hover here for just a second. Turn those toes towards the left side of the mat. Touch them down and then lower yourself down gently as we come into pigeon. Yay! You might need to wiggle that right knee forward just a little bit. You might need to wiggle that back leg back. And if you find that your right glute area is nowhere near the mat, feel free to use a pillow or a prop or something to just kind of help you feel a little bit more supported in your pigeon. See if you can lift yourself up. Nice lifted pigeon, opening up your chest. Working to get those hips squared down towards the mat. We're going to lower ourselves down. You can even take a little bind with your hands and bring your head between the bind. Just use your breath. Notice where there's tension. Inhale in light and awareness, and exhale out that stress. Two more breaths right here. Great. Go ahead, walk yourself back up onto your hands. We're going to tuck that left toe under, lift yourself up, send your right leg back to meet with your left. Hips up towards the ceiling, down dog once more. Last time, left leg comes up towards the ceiling. Bring that left elbow forward. Left knee towards your left elbow. Then go ahead, turn your toes towards the right side of the mat. Gently lower yourself down. Walk your right leg back. Wiggle your left leg forward. If you need to, you can always bring that prop right underneath of your left cheek just a little bit as you lift yourself up. Opening up that chest. You're gorgeous. Beautiful stretch of that lower back here as well. Shoulders away from ears. Gently begin to walk yourself down. Forearms come down towards the mat. Now you can find some rounding in those shoulders right here. Slow down your breath once more. Oh my gosh, how is time going so quickly? I don't even know. Last two breaths. Awesome. Go ahead, tuck your back toes under, bring your hands underneath of your chest, lift yourself up once more. Send those hips up towards the ceiling. And then we're just going to lower our knees down towards the floor. Relax your shoulders for a moment as you stretch your fingertips forward for some child's pose. You can be as active in your child's pose as you want to. If your prop is ahead of you and you want a deeper stretch, having your hands lifted can bring an even deeper stretch to your shoulders. If your shoulders don't want that deeper stretch, feel free to bend your elbows as much as you need to. You can even reach your hands behind you. Let's take 5 breaths right here in child's pose. Head coming down below heart's level brings our heart rate back down. Inhale, find some length through your fingers if your arms are stretched forward. And exhale, stretch your hips closer to your heels. Total body stretch. All right, go ahead, pull yourself back up. Take a moment right here in tabletop. Give yourself some cat-cows right here. Find the stretch that works best for you. Next up, we're going to do a little squat to dangle. Just alternating a little bit from squat and dangle. We'll go for 5 squats to dangles. You're just going to do your best. Okay. So we're going to come up into our squat to start with. So hopefully you've been coming to some of the other classes. We've been really working, even in hip classes, in this hip mobility, bringing that right leg forward. Turn your foot out to about a 45-degree angle. Put some pressure into your hands, palms. We're going to lift ourselves up and bring that left leg forward as well. And it's okay if both of your heels don't come down towards the floor. Just do your best. You can have your hands on the floor as much as you need. All right, so lowering those hips towards your heels. Take a moment, lift up your chest for squat. Keep your hands on the floor though. You can be supported here. We're going to press into our fingers, lift ourselves up, bring the weight into your heels, bring your toes forward for a dangle. Start to bring more weight forward towards your toes for this dangle. Think about spiraling your inner thighs towards the back of the room, just like we talked about for down dog. And then we're going to change. So go ahead, weight comes into your heels, toes turn out. Bend your knees, sit your hips down for a squat, lift your chest, and change. Lift your hips up, point those toes forward, relax your head down for dangle. Pull your shoulders away from ears, even in dangle. Belly nice and tight, we're doing forward folds. Weight in your heels, turn your toes out, come on back down to squat, lift your chest. Take a deep inhale, exhale, hips up towards the ceiling, turn toes forward, dangle. Two more times. Go ahead, bring the weight into your heels, turn your toes out, come on down for squat, lift your chest. Start to lift your hips up, weight in your heels, turn toes forward. Bring that weight forward, dangle, relax your head down towards the floor. Keep looking down between your toes though. Last one, bring the weight into your heels, turn your heels out. Squat. Maybe bring your hands up for Malasana, really balancing your last squat. 3, 2, 1, bring your fingertips down, send your hips up, toes come forward, dangle. Last time, maybe releasing your hands off the floor this time. You can grab hold of your opposite elbows or reach your fingertips behind you for a little bit more of a stretch on the back of your legs. Great, go ahead, bring the weight into your heels, take a little bit of a bend of your knees, bring your hands to your thighs for a little twisted goddess. Turn those toes out just a little bit more again. We're gonna go ahead and drop your right shoulder forward. You can even press your right hand into the outside of your right thigh to help you twist those shoulders, even turning your chin towards your left shoulder. Keep that weight in your heels though, whoa. And change, opposite shoulder drops down. Nice, let's come on down towards the floor one more time, last stretch of the day. We're gonna come into frog. So go ahead, walk your knees out nice and wide, at least as wide as your mat, and start to turn your toes out as well. We're gonna slowly lower ourselves down. So keep stretching those knees out, bring your forearms down towards the mat. It's okay if you are not all the way down towards the floor. You can always bring a prop underneath of your belly. It's easier if you're a little bit forward. It's harder to be more in a 90-degree angle with your thighs, with your shins, and with your ankles. We're gonna stay here for 1 minute in frog. Work to relax and release your shoulders away from your ears. And remember, you can always bring a pillow underneath of your belly just to hang out right here and be supported in your frog. And now that I brought it there, I'm definitely gonna keep it. And just breathe, find a spot to focus your eyes. 2 more breaths. Awesome. To come out, gently pull yourself forward. Begin to walk those knees towards each other. Go ahead, cross your legs behind you. Press yourself up. Yay. Just taking a moment right here in Sukhasana in easy pose. While you're here, drop that right shoulder forward. One more teeny little twist. Go ahead, drop your left shoulder forward. And then take your time, turn around, lay down on your back. We've made it to final Savasana, you guys. This time, remember, you can open your legs as wide as you want for final Savasana. You can open your arms as wide as you want. If you want to continue with the hip stretch, you can even come back to reclined bound angle, bringing the soles of your feet together. Just find some stillness that you can enjoy, some relaxation, and the support of the floor underneath of you. Come back to your relaxed, super slow breath. Focus on just that. Inhale in the awareness, any sensations that you might feel. Exhale out the tension. Inhale in pride for coming and making this time for yourself today. And exhale out any sadness that you might have. Maybe because you couldn't stretch as deeply as you wanted, or something wasn't easy. Life's not easy. That's why we do this yoga. Using our breath to just relax and find new possibilities, new connections, opportunities that might not have been there before. If you just keep creating that space and making time for yourself. You're welcome to stay here in this final Savasana for as long as feels appropriate and delightful for you today. And if you don't have anywhere to be and you just are trying to race out of here, you should stay in Savasana too. 5 more breaths if you can. However, if you have other things that you need to go do and see, let's go ahead and make our way to a seated position and close out class together. Feel free to keep your eyes closed as you come into this seated position. Just continuing to focus inward on yourself and your intention. Bring your hands, palms to the center of your chest with your thumbs touching on your sternum, and tuck your chin to your chest. Take a moment to bow to yourself. Honor the light and the energy
within you. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your beautiful energy with me. It was my pleasure to share mine with you. You can't pour from an empty cup, so it's so important to just take this time to refill yourself. As always, if you have any questions or concerns about anything that I said or we did today, please reach out. Continue to think good thoughts, speak good words, eat good foods, and do good deeds. Nourish yourself from the inside out and share your love and light with others. I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste.